So many things launching at once that I saw involvement in from Gemini and Taurus energy, maybe also Libra, but definitely, absolutely none of it is actually my energy. So, including involving someone egregiously destiny swapping with me entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent, they've been trying to make it look like I'm trying to achieve multiple things at once, where I've in reality only been specifically trying to achieve one thing. So they've been trying to dilute and sabotage my pursuit of the connection I've always wanted with Kimmy by trying to make me seem like an extremely disingenuous, massive fraud, two-faced scumbag that's just been using Kimmy to achieve ulterior motives. Scorpio energy trying to manipulate, trap, and or force me into divination abuse. Maybe also Libra. So they've been aggressively trying to make it look like their divination abuse is me divination abusing. You've come so far. So they've all been trying to completely prevent me from actually progressing or meaningfully overcoming any serious obstacles in my life, as well as anyone from ever even seeing me as possibly really doing so, even if they all know fully well that I very much am. The moment we've all been waiting for. So they've all been trying to desperately prevent any moments like this from ever happening, where they basically know they're getting exposed and see irrefutable proof their plots against me are failing. Spirit says you are ready. So they've all been trying to make it look like I'm always spiritually underdeveloped and will never be ready for meaningful change I actually want in my life to actually happen for me. An amazing union. So they've all been trying to completely prevent me from ever having a union of any kind that I'd actually consider amazing or that would actually be amazing in any aspect. Part 2 out of 2. So their overall plot had two major parts to it, which they knew from the very beginning of making it. But I didn't get the first part in my energy. So that part must have been done entirely without any input from me or any real consideration whatsoever towards me. So they did all the planning for this plot basically as if I'm dead or my fully authentic energy has ceased to exist. So a literal plot to seriously murder me and cause the physical cessation of my existence in real life. And then they tried to so egregiously divination abuse as the follow through part of the execution of the plot that they hoped they could force an existence upon me that I had in reality designed absolutely no part of. They've all been egregiously exploiting lions, martial arts, books, and confusing rivers and ocean in order to try to successfully, permanently, completely spiritually assassinate me. And as it said, first it happens in the 5D, then it happens in the 3D. The messages in this reading are huge. So they've been trying really hard to make it seem like everything they've been doing to cause all the things covered here are actually just small things that wouldn't ever really amount to some kind of serious big outcome. So they've been seriously trying to murder me in real life while acting like it's basically a complete joke or some kind of really fake, purely performative thing. This big thing is getting pushed through for you guys. It's a blessing. It's going to give you a focus, and you're going to have this kind of project to work on because of whatever is coming through for you. So there's something big that they're trying to forcefully progress forward entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. And they're hiding it by egregiously misrepresenting things as if it's somehow for my benefit and something I'd see as a blessing, while in reality they know that it's the complete opposite, and I always have very much considered it as such. They've been egregiously misrepresenting me as desperately needing their help to focus, while in reality they've been trying to rob me of my focus and deplete my ability to ever really focus on anything actually good for me or that I'd actually want to focus on. And they've been trying to leave me with some kind of project I have to endlessly exhaust myself becoming and remaining completely depleted because of as a result. We were saying for some of you it might be a house, for some of you it's a car, something with the family coming through, a union. There's a really big blessing coming that's going to give you a focus on the next chapter of your life. It's really cool. So they've been trying to get different things, a house, a car, a family, absolutely none of which I've ever been trying to work towards at all. And they're trying to cause confusion between all that and some kind of union in general, while calling it a blessing to eliminate me from having any focus on even having a next chapter of my life, while trying to convince me that's somehow cool or should be acceptable to me. It almost feels like I'm seeing, like, if you're in school and you have the overview of the next chapter of whatever you guys are working on in school, and it's like you're about to receive the headline of what this next chapter of life is going to be about, and then you're going to delve in. It's really cool. So they've definitely been trying to school me or humble me or act like they're in some kind of position to teach me something. They've been misrepresenting their intentional and malicious hiding of that by somehow pretending that they've actually been giving me some kind of overview or headline of what they're doing and how they're trying to completely control and dictate my future entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. While they've been trying to leave me completely in the dark about it until after it's too late, and they're forcing me to have to slowly discover the harm they've tried to plot over my life without even getting any kind of overview or summary or anything like that from any of them about what they've really done to me. They've been hiding all this by acting like what they've been doing has been really cool and would be totally okay with me, while in reality they've known all along it very much is not, has never been, and never will be. This is wish fulfillment. Something is coming through here. I just heard a business. Some of you guys are having luck in business, money, finances, or you're starting a business. So they've been egregiously misrepresenting what true wish fulfillment for me really even is to get whatever they thought it'd be for themselves. They've been doing it by intentionally, maliciously causing extreme confusion about my life to make it seem like I've been experiencing luck in business and my financial situation, or luck in trying to start a business, and they've been making it seem like I've intentionally obscured which I've been experiencing and when, if at all, while I've in reality not been experiencing any of either at all for a very, very long time. And they very much have been, and still are, extremely heavily involved in causing that. Why am I seeing a bakery? For some of you, there's a bakery or something like that. Flowers to animals. Just saw someone showing off a book online, selling a digital product. I don't know. So, in their egregious divination abuse, they have been egregiously exploiting things related to bakeries, flowers, animals, and books. It probably started with whoever has been divination abusing with something related to bakeries, who then went to someone who divination abuses with flowers, who then went to someone who divination abuses with animals, who then went to someone who divination abuses with books. And they've been trying to cause massive confusion, so the whole purpose of doing so was left exceedingly unclear to others, even those highly spiritually inclined. And they've probably been trying to make it seem like I've been trying to ultimately somehow sell people something or manipulate others through that. In reality, I'm not at all and never have been. There's a period of time Spirit is asking you to take whatever this blessing is, push through the hurdles, get over the hurdles, push through the obstacles, and keep pushing. Because they want to bless you. They want to bless you with this avenue they're creating. Something about whatever they're giving you is going to push you and launch you into the next phase of life. So they've been egregiously divination abusing to try to force me to be trapped with no option but to take on the burdens of any and every hurdle and obstacle they wanted to put in my path in life. And they only had a certain period of time to try to succeed in that, but they've been trying to make it seem like they'll definitely always have whatever time they need. And they've hidden it by egregiously misrepresenting things as if their divination abuse wasn't really abuse, because it's been falsely framed as asking me to do so instead of the reality that it's entirely non-consensually abusively being imposed on me. And they've tried to make it seem impossible they'd ever do that by egregiously misrepresenting this absolutely hellish nightmare of a curse they've tried to permanently seal into my life as something I'd absolutely definitely see as some kind of huge blessing I'd ever accept, some really strange, really indirect confirmation I should embrace receiving. They've been acting like it's best for me because they're trying to push and launch me into what they want to be my next phase in life, as if they have the right to dictate my future without any actual care for actual consent from me or actual decency towards me whatsoever. It almost reminds me of like you receive a big loan or something, like something you've been wanting. You use it to get your business going. Then all this money comes in. That's the kind of the flow I'm seeing. Or you receive a house, you work on the house, then you rent out a part of it. Now you get all this money. Like it's like a flowing sort of thing they're giving you. So they're egregiously misrepresenting things as if they're giving me a big loan or a big gift of some kind, while in reality trying to steal away from me any such a thing I might ever work for or deserve somehow. They're trying to leave me trapped in a state with no ability to have any cash flow or even to flow with the moment in general in life. They're trying to steal the ability to have such a flow that I've worked extremely hard to deserve from me. They want you to ride the waves. So they're hiding, forcing me to deal with extreme low points and their egregious misrepresentations of me ever even really having any high points throughout it all. And they're doing it by pretending as if I'm willingly volunteering to endure it, and they're giving me an option, and they just want me to do it, as opposed to trying to trap me into having no other option but to suffer dealing with it as a direct result of their extremely egregious wrongs against me. There is a union coming in here. I'm hearing the word union. Now, for some of you, if this is romantic, this is power couple energy, okay? This is meeting your match. This has been coming up a lot in readings. Please take what resonates. So, they've definitely been trying to completely rob me of ever coming into union with anything that I actually want, especially meeting someone that is actually a good match for me romantically. And they've very much knowingly and intentionally, utmost maliciously, especially been focusing on eliminating my ability to even resonate at all with what an even remotely actually good match for me romantically even is. If this is not a romantic situation, this is a union with, like, a business partner, a sort of soulmate of sorts. Heh, sort of sorts. There's a very significant soul coming in here that is going to be in your life for a long time, and there's like a match. So they've been trying to cause confusion around my extremely clear awareness of Kimmy already being someone I have a really deep, intimate, soul level bond with, who's probably actually a really good match for me as an intimate romantic partner long term if she wasn't also being blocked from embracing it properly by these other jackass energies. They're making it seem like I've been extremely disingenuous about my feelings for her in order to pursue some kind of union with a business partner of some kind who they're trying to force me to see as some weird variation of a soulmate or something like that. And they've been trying to leave me stuck in that union with that business partner in a very significant manner for a very long time, egregiously misrepresenting me as seeing it as a true match for my energy. This person has very powerful manifesting energy. They're very flexible, they're creative, they're workable, they have good intention. There's something about their energy that may be darker or more practical than you. Your energy is coming as the high priestess, which is very bright, light, intuitive, but steady in themselves. So it's a really good balance here. So they have very weak energy for actually manifesting anything good for me, if at all in general. They're very inflexible. They're quite lacking in authentic creativity. They're not workable with at all. And they have absolutely no good intentions towards me whatsoever. They egregiously misrepresent actual malicious darkness and egotistical attributes they possess as instead simply being practical, and especially to try to make themselves seem more down to earth and practical than me. They hide it by egregiously misrepresenting the reality of my attitudes and behaviors that they try to portray as bright, enlightening, and intuitive to others, by making it seem like any real capability or affinity I have for those kinds of things in reality comes from some extremely self-absorbed egotistical place in me that I somehow massively hide successfully from others. And they hide all that by trying to throw my entire life so extremely off balance that they make it seem like they actually bring the most balance to my life, while in reality, they're the biggest reason I'm being so brutally deprived of it and have to struggle and suffer so much to even possibly have a chance to feel more balanced despite everything they've been doing to me. For some of you, this is a partnership. The blessing is like a massive partnership that's happening. But there's also something going on in your personal life that's getting blessed. So they've been trying to cause confusion around if I'd ever even consider an actually genuine, deep, meaningful partnership with anyone to actually be a wish fulfillment to me to any extent. Even if it's with someone that would make it what I in reality actually want most in life, and they know it with absolute certainty. And they're trying to introduce or keep bringing up something I find absolutely thoroughly unpleasant negative and that I don't want to ever give any energy to whatsoever from my past in order to also completely destroy my ability for any kind of actually pleasant, meaningful, fulfilling, or even generally enjoyable or desirable personal life. while hiding all that by egregiously misrepresenting things as if they were trying to bring some kind of blessing in my personal life all along in doing it, while knowing they've only ever really been trying to do the complete opposite. Wow, wow. There's like a death to the whole old way of life so that the new life can come in. This is incredible. So they've been trying to egregiously misrepresent me, living authentically, as some kind of fundamentally dysfunctional old way of life or something like that. As if I want to and or should abandon my authenticity, as if it's a flaw somehow, so I can welcome in an entirely different life, one that forces me to be only increasingly inauthentic over time and naturally also would only cause me to be increasingly unhappy and unfulfilled over time as well. They hide it by acting like I've ever seen it as somehow incredible in any kind of even remotely positive manner, how egregiously they're strategically being malicious towards me in order to attempt to achieve this robbery of my soul and absolute destruction of my life. I don't know what else to say about that. Take the parts that resonate for you. So they're always intentionally, maliciously hiding and withholding saying more that they know or could say, and probably even often should in reality be sharing already. They strategically only handpick a selection of things that most selfishly benefit them to share and try to gauge others' reactions and responses and vibes before determining if they see substantial lack of resonance in them, with the false narratives being crafted to the point that they feel they need to share more to try to make it more believable. If you're here on part 1 or 2, I'm excited for you. This is really big energy. Wow, wow, wow. So they've been going to extremely great lengths to completely prevent people from seeing when they should be a lot more excited to have me in their lives, or probably even just to know of my existence in general. They've been going to extremely great lengths to make my energy look small, frail, weak, pathetic, to make me look extremely unimpressive, even when the reality is extremely far from it. And they've probably been trying to siphon and steal these attributes from me while doing it. This feels like, for some of you, maybe the 7-year cycle, where a lot of things from the past, like 5 to 7 years, are closing out so that the new one can start. Very exciting. So they've been doing all these things in attempts to get away with inflicting on me a cycle they've tried to keep me trapped in permanently, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent, for the last roughly 5 to 7 years. So they can put an end to it and start a new one in a manner completely robbing me of any real control or decision-making ability in it, which they're in reality completely aware is entirely to my detriment to ever allow or tolerate at all. That they know I am not, never have been, never will be, and should never be excited to have happen. Around 7 years ago was when I saw Kimmy have her public mental breakdown, talking about needing motivational videos to get out of bed in the morning because she pushed away someone she really liked. Not even 2 months after I started giving her space I thought she wanted. Around 5 years ago was when the terrorism she's been relentlessly, viciously perpetuating on my life ever since I tried confronting her to get to the root of the matter led to me releasing a manifesto that I learned during making my podcast that apparently Jamie got a cat not very long before I ended up starting work on. Have a great day. Please don't get scammed. I don't message you first about a reading. I do not do that. So, this moron got scammed by a divination abuser because they've been divination abusing so desperately and so egregiously to try to siphon my energy and blessings and destiny swap with me entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent, with utmost malice towards me, to the point that they've definitely already long known what they're doing is extremely wrong. They've been trying to get me to message them first at some point so they can scam me themselves and or pull me into getting scammed by someone else. That most certainly won't ever be happening. You guys are wonderful and I appreciate you. We'll see you again soon. So they don't think I'm wonderful at all. They absolutely despise me. They don't appreciate me at all whatsoever either, and they seriously hope to never see me ever again. They actively wish death upon me and for me to be utterly unable to do anything at all meaningful to prevent or even delay it, even if I couldn't be further from deserving it, and even despite them knowing I obviously don't want it. And they've been so egregiously spiritually violating me that they've been trying to make it look like it's even remotely possible I'd ever have any even remotely adequate reason to hate myself at all, to ever share their absolutely diabolical, horrible, extremely irrational, exceedingly negative feelings towards me to any extent.